One time my mom's thumb hurt, and she said, "My opposable thumb hurts." And so now, and we thought
I
it was
love
funny
your
to
mom.
specify because she actually only has two thumbs and they're both opposable. So now we
They're
say
both
that.
generally thumbs come just standard opposable.
Yeah, yeah. So we thought that that was really funny. And now anytime we're talking about thumbs, we're like, "Your opposable thumbs, correct?"
That's pretty good. I was gonna write out A New Hope, but I've
Well,
only
you
done the
got
one letter and I'm so now the rest of them will
uh
just be normal.
regular.
Um,
Okay, so you were writing the letters to A New Hope, and that's because we're talking
I
about
was.
Star Wars today.
Yeah, sure. Real quick, this isn't
And
related, but I
okay.
just wanted to tell you because Jason and I were talking about it earlier. Um, One of Jen's favorite games at work is to come up with really fun insults for people. Like
Hmm.
her favorite is "You look like you don't know how to swim."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just
Because
like
it kind of
really,
gets to like, oh, here's this thing that a lot of people do from a young age.
huh?
And but not you.
Yeah. And you can't
Yeah.
counter it either because what do you say? You're like, "No, I do know how to swim."
No,
Then she
I
can just say, "You look like you don't know how."
well, you don't look like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just utterly meaningless,
Yeah,
but it
that's
cuts
really good.
so deep.
It's really good.
Um, yeah, so Jason and I were talking about it a little bit today. Um, you look like you ate spaghetti really messy when you were a kid.
Uh-huh.
You look like the type of person to own multiple grandfather clocks. Just
That
like
one's good. That one's good. Like you look like a freak. But without saying it in so many words.
it's a really fun game to play sometimes, and so that's all that I wanted to say about it.
Thank you for telling me that. Do you
You're
want to see
welcome.
Hero?
Yeah.
He's sitting in the cat tower thing, and the cushion, he's all the way on the edge of it, so he could almost fall off at any moment.
Oh, baby.
That's good. It's like I was watching like an SNL compilation yesterday, which I haven't done for a while, and there's that one they say you look like if Jimmy Neutron did street magic.
Wait, is that the one with Michael B. Jordan? And
Yeah,
he's like crashing an alpha convention.
yeah.
I
He's like,
love that one.
it's like you have a huge forehead. No, it's regular. And your hair's crazy. You look like Jimmy Neutron. And then all the other guys laugh. They're like, yeah, Jimmy Neutron. And then one guy's like, yeah, like if Jimmy Neutron did street magic, that's you. And everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm cool. I'm regular too.
Like regular. I love it. It's so funny. That one came up on my recommendeds a while ago. And I was like, oh, this is so funny. I can't believe Michael B. Jordan was just on SNL and it was from a couple years ago. I was like, okay, so what's going on? Why are you just showing this to me now? What took you so long?
I should have known about this for years.
It feels like I have.
Yeah, that's really good. You know your life is going well when you have to insist that you're regular. No, I'm normal. Stop. That's good stuff. That's like also that guy, Kyle something, Kyle Prue, which I know because at the beginning of every video, he introduces himself as Kyle Prue, so I always know. But he does that series of like things that you can say to men specifically to like piss them off or make them insecure. I think he's been doing this series for like a billion years. I'm not really sure. Like at least 4 years. And some of them are really, really good.
Okay. Well, that's the end of the bit. Everyone, be nice to Kyle now. Why don't we pivot?
I'll have to look that up. That sounds
Yeah.
wonderful.
Anyway, so
Jimmy Neutron did street magic.
it's so biting. Street magic is like not cool. Even if
No.
it's cool, like even if you're like walking down the street and somebody does some magic that's impressive, it's still not a cool thing to be doing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, unless it's the movie Now You See Me. And this is I just rewatched it the other day. Mike, his
Mm,
review of it.
of
And
course.
I think
Uh-huh.
it's funny that the most he's ever like overtly crushed on somebody on screen is
Uh-huh.
Jesse Eisenberg. And Now You See Me. He's done so many movies, so many good
Hmm.
ones with
Hmm.
really attractive people in it. But this is the one where he's like,
He's like, and then,
"Hi, Jesse."
sorry, Jesse Eisenberg.
I'm not saying it's invalid. I just wanted I wanted it noted. So yes, the movie what we're talking
The
about today.
movie. And the thing is, we just barely decided to talk about this movie like just a few minutes ago. So, as usual, we have
Mhm.
not thought of any letters for the acronym, and we have no idea what we're gonna say. This is
I've thought of three.
this is an exercise in improvisation.
Improv.
Yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise known as improv. Yeah,
I have thought of three potential ones that we don't have
awesome.
to use.
Okay,
Yeah. Um, I I actually do insist on using one. The one letter that I
okay.
insist we use is Mark Hamill because
Mark
he's
Hamill,
in this.
absolutely.
He's in
He's
it.
in.
Like
You know
he's
what?
like
Not
the
only is
main
he
part
in
of
this
this,
movie,
actually.
he is this movie. Like he's the main guy. And I remember hearing an
I
anecdote of
think
a
that's
time.
very fair to say.
I remember hearing an anecdote of a time that he was like, "Oh, everyone else, like all the other characters have like their theme songs, their motifs." He's like, "I don't know. I just feel like I don't get why Luke doesn't have one." And they were like, "Well, it's the main theme. It's the Star Wars theme because Luke's the main character." And he was like, and I don't remember where I heard that, but I do believe that it is 100% true. So
I can confirm that it's true because I also have heard that, and not from you.
there
So
you go.
I've heard it from
And from
some,
the mouths of two witnesses, you know.
et cetera, et cetera. What I liked about that one is from the source that I remember hearing it from, Mark Hamill was saying it mostly half joking. He's like,
Right.
it's not a big deal, but I'm just gonna razz John Williams
But
about it a
it's just
little
like
bit
kind
because
of
I'm pretty sure
weird
he
that
was
like I
talking
wouldn't
to
have
John
a
Williams.
theme. Yeah, he was
Yeah, I
talking to
think he
John
was like
Williams.
playing at the
John
diva
Williams would
part.
know
Yeah,
because
he's
he's
like,
the one who made the
John,
music.
he did. And
So
John is
funny. I
like,
love Leia's
oh, so
theme.
you're
Awesome.
dumb.
So beautiful. Love it. Quick question though. What about little Luke? And he's like, what about him? That's the main guy.
He's like,
Yeah.
this guy. But you can't because it's Mark. You can't hate him and you can't begrudge him
No.
for asking because he didn't just assume that it would be his theme. He had to
Right.
be told because
He had to be told because he's
he's
like, well, that's
humble.
the main theme of the movie. How am I?
Yeah. He
You
didn't
know what happens when you assume. So,
mm, murder. I love Mark Hamill. I don't we don't say it enough on this channel because I don't
mhm.
think we've talked about a movie with him in it yet.
We've been kind of avoiding Star Wars for a while.
Yeah. We wanted to build up to it and then we decided
Yeah.
to just do it spur of the moment.
On a
Whatever.
whim. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason that we were going to save it is that my brother Neil and I have this really great idea for how the sequels could have been good. And so we were like, oh, we could talk about that and kind of lay that out. But now, well, I mean, maybe we still will, but we're just talking about the original movie. So it's
Yeah,
not
the
going to
one.
come up.
I did tell Jason about that thing um that like Star Wars would be so good if it was good, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
true. And I'm always saying it.
Yeah. Yikes. But Star
Well,
Wars, A New Hope,
Star Wars,
good.
the movie, good movie.
Good. Good.
And what's good
Good
about
movie.
it is that it could, it opened itself up to more movies and then to prequels and then to sequels. And at some point that became a bad thing. But it initially was kind of a good thing. It's like, oh, here's a movie that stands really well on its own. It's a complete story and it's interesting. but then it also could be two more movies, you know?
Mhm.
Um, then that's something that's good about this movie.
Yes.
It's like the
Yeah.
perfect amount of movie. It can be its own thing, but it
Yes.
also has such a like vibrant world that you can do
Uh-huh.
anything else with the world,
Anything
for better
else?
or for worse.
A- Anything. Whole
You
universe.
do anything else. There's a whole universe. You could do anything you wanted, or
I've got a great idea. I've got a
not.
great idea. What if
Okay.
we only focus on the same six characters always?
Like over and over
Yeah,
again forever, even though there's like 1,000 movies,
forever. Yeah,
you might be onto
and
something
shows
there.
also. If we,
Hmm.
what if we do shows with new characters, but then it's like,
But then
psych,
also
it's
some of
just
the
the
old
same
ones.
ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I like where this is heading. Because the thing that people like most about Star Wars is not that it's a whole new universe with infinite possibilities. What they like about it is those couple of guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
only those
Oh,
ones.
just those, like, just those ones. Anyway, but we're not
You
here to
have to
talk about
laugh
that.
so that you don't cry.
Times
No,
like this,
we're
all you
not.
can do
We're here
is
to talk
laugh.
about Mark Hamill.
And so we're just talking about the
Hang
one
on, my
movie, the
phone's
first one,
overheating. I've got to
the
rescue it.
only one. That's why we
Yeah.
say Mark Hamill. He's so cute and young and little in this movie.
He's so baby. He's so baby. He's got a
I
little
watched it
tiny
again
face. It's
recently
still so round.
because the despecialized versions are on Internet Archive. So I was like, I should watch those, and then I only watched the first one, but I still can watch the other two because they're still on there. I just haven't yet.
What? Shut up. I didn't know that. I thought you couldn't find them anywhere. I've looked. Okay, I'll have to find that.
Hmm. And what's cool about the watching the first one despecialized is that it's not super different. Jabba the Hutt's not in it.
Hmm.
That helps a lot.
Which yeah.
Because you get the hint at Jabba the Hutt. Because again, like one thing this movie does really well is that there's this whole world out there, and we just see like little snippets. So there's the scene with Han and Greedo in the bar, that's in this movie. And they mention you need to pay back Jabba the Hutt. And Han's like, I'm gonna kill you and then I'm gonna fly away, and that's what he does. And so then
Yes.
in the later movies when you see Jabba the Hutt, you're like, oh, from before.
From the first one.
And
And then it's
that's
like
a
it doesn't
strength
make
of this movie.
sense why Jabba would be there with Greedo. And Greedo's like, you need to pay him back. And Han's like, no. And then Jabba's like, hey man, what's up, buddy? And just is like, and they just talk?
Right.
And that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Because Han
Yeah.
killed that
Yeah.
guy for, like, the guy who works for him. He was like, I'm not gonna, you know,
Hmm.
yeah, weird
Yeah.
stuff. And also, obviously, in the specialized version, Greedo tries to shoot at Han first for some reason,
Yeah. Hmm.
point blank and misses. So it's infuriating to a lot of people because they're like, why would you add, like, the scene is already tense,
Hmm.
and then Han gets to be like, whoosh, you know? Like, you don't have
Yeah.
to make Greedo seem so. Now he doesn't seem like a threat. He's sitting 2 feet away from
Yeah.
this guy and he can't hit him.
Yeah. Insert the Mushu line or whatever. And like, I don't know, and I have not looked into it at all, like the reason why he made that change. In my head, he made it because he thought that it would be better for a main character to not be like murderous. He's like, oh
Mhm.
no, I'm gonna
It's like
give him a reason to shoot
retaliation,
the
it's like
guy. Yeah,
self-defense or whatever.
instead of a
Whatever.
preemptive shot.
The thing is though, like the whole point of this character is that he
Jason
is
just
like
says, "Go woke or go broke."
Hey,
Wait, Jason, did
so
Han
true.
shoot first? He rolled his eyes. He said yes.
Yeah, and also
Yeah,
only, right? Because he shot Greedo and then
right.
Greedo died and couldn't shoot him.
Because
So
he couldn't
first
shoot
is like
him.
he
The
was only
only
the
thing that
one
makes
guy.
sense, George.
Come on.
Like,
And anyway, the whole thing, the setup of his character is like, oh, we're going to this seedy joint to find this guy who's willing to break the law to get us to go, right?
Yeah.
Well, from the beginning, though, his whole thing is that he's like an outlaw. Are we
Yeah.
afraid of outlaw characters like shooting people, or is that kind of par for the course?
I don't know. I think a lot
But
of
if they show
Han's
him shooting
story,
somebody, they're condoning it
and that's
or
true,
something.
famously. Yeah,
Yeah,
depiction equals condoning. But
yeah.
like, isn't the whole point of Han's plot over the course of the three movies is that he like grows and develops and learns to care about something? So doesn't it make a lot of sense that one of the first scenes he's in would be showing a
Killing
disregard for
somebody.
life?
Right. I guess that would make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it just now for the first time, that does make sense.
You think the message from Leia is the brass plates. It's really just a metaphor for the for Laban and Nephi cutting Laban's head off.
That's true. Do you think he did that on purpose?
Yes, I do.
Did you
Yeah,
hear that?
about the brass plates. Yeah, I think that that was on purpose, but I think that it's because the original Just the First Star Wars, before it was called Star Wars: A New Hope, and it was just the one movie, it did come directly from God.
That's true. I've heard that.
Yeah, people say that.
Yeah.
It's not
And
just
I
me.
think
Other people say that.
the digitized version of it or the specialized version of it, whatever, is like how the Bible has had sense
It's been
and your truth in it.
translated. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's a
okay,
really good
George.
point.
It's also like when and I can't relate to this because I've never done eyeliner ever in my life, but other people talk about when you get your eyeliner perfect, but then you're like you get cocky and you're like I'll just build it out a little bit more. And then you mess it
Oh,
up and you got to keep building and
hmm
building and building and building and then it's crazy, crazy, crazy. It's like that where it's
hmm
like you were fine. You were fine.
It looks really good. If you were like, this looks really good, you can stop there. Same thing with like painting,
Hmm.
anything where you're like, oh, it's almost perfect, but I just want to add one thing. Don't add it.
I'm
That's the devil
talking.
talking to you.
It
And
is.
don't do it. You're
No.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so um we only talked about the one letter.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Mark
Because
Hamill.
we were like, whatever, Mark, let's go.
Wee!
Yay!
Which is a good reaction. And we should
Yeah.
all be doing that when we talk about Mark Hamill.
hmm
I'm gonna cry. I love him so much. He's done so much for this country.
hmm
Actually, the whole cast did. We
hmm
we haven't even touched on Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher yet. We'll get to them. It's just
Don't
that
worry.
their names didn't start with letters that are in our stupid gimmick.
Yeah, so we had to wait. And you got to
Mark
start
Hamill,
somewhere. So Mark
yeah.
Hamill, and then
Um,
two other letters, and then one more that we can make up.
yeah.
Great.
So the S I can you guess? Can you guess what I picked for the letter S?
Maybe. Um,
Okay, I'll give you three guesses.
okay, space.
Yeah, it's space.
Yeah.
Space. Yeah, that's where the movie's
Cool.
at.
That's where
Yeah,
the movie, yeah.
yeah. And then for T, I said TIE Fighter because I couldn't think
TIE
of
Fighter.
anything else.
I genuinely was like, she probably put TIE Fighter for T. That's so
Yes!
funny.
Woo!
Yay! Now E is tricky because the place is called Mos Eisley, but that starts with an
Mm,
M, kind of.
yeah. And Ewoks
Uh,
are not in this movie. They're
Ewoks
in
are not
later
in this
movies.
movie. They haven't been
No.
invented yet for this movie. That
No.
comes later. Uh, Greedo starts with a G.
Trash compactor. That starts with a T.
Trash compactor. That's pretty good.
But we already have
Trash
it. I
compactor.
mean, we could.
But TIE Fighter is in more than one movie. Trash compactor is kind of only in this movie.
That's a good point. Yeah. And then
Really
that
good
doesn't
point.
solve the letter E problem
No, it super
anyway.
doesn't.
So,
Can you think
yeah.
of a word that starts with E? Don't shoot me.
Darth
Let me extend a hand of fellowship to you.
Vader
Yeah,
Cunningham.
no, oh my God.
Oh no! I gotta call 911.
Neil, come here. Come
Hi,
closer,
Neil.
my boy. Whitney says hi. And my question for you is, can you think of a word that starts with the letter E that applies to Star Wars? A New Hope, the first movie.
Epic.
Epic, totally.
See, we were going for complicated.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should have just gone with a simple solution.
We should have
Yeah.
short and sweet. Yeah. Thank you for your time and for your service.
No problem.
Space trash compactor. Space trash compactor. That's where the trash compactor's in Space Station. So think about that. And then
It is.
Epic, because absolutely. And then Mark Hamill. So this is going well.
You did say trash compactor. Were we doing that instead of TIE Fighter? I'm happy with
We
either
can
one.
do, you know what? We can do anything.
Yeah, so movie of all time for real.
Uh-huh.
Like for real, for real.
For real, for real. Like, some people will throw around that phrase all willy-nilly, but this is
Including us.
serious.
Yeah, we're like we mean it.
Yeah.
Um
Including us is like mainly us. Any movie, we're like, is
Greatest
this
movie
the
I've ever
movie of all
seen.
time? Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes we really, really are saying the truth.
Yeah.
And this is one
And
of those
that
times.
like this is I think the least disputed statement. Like I don't think that you can really say that A New Hope is overrated.
Right.
At least
Because it
not
is like
with a
one of
heart
the
and a
most
soul.
influential films of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Olivia once told me, I think it was even on this podcast.
may have been.
I had said, however much you think I talk about Ravenous, like triple that because like you don't understand how much I am limiting myself from talking about Ravenous.
Hmm.
Like you're welcome, basically.
Yeah.
And Olivia
Yeah.
said, that's Star Wars for me. Like
Yeah.
that's all we respectively
It's
think
kind of
about. I
always in
only
the
think
back of
about
my mind.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I
I
was
see
like, man,
everything. I like filter everything I see through the lens of Star Wars.
yeah, yeah.
But
Hmm.
it's the thing is, like, Ravenous, this is a different thing in that Ravenous has a very small cult following, and it hasn't really like saturated the market in the way that Star Wars has, to a point where being a fan of Star Wars is obvious because everybody likes Star Wars, but then it's also cringy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So
everybody
it's a
likes A
catch
New
22
Hope,
situation
but not
for both of
everybody,
us.
you're not supposed to be a fan of Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
yeah.
complicated.
And then a lot of people are fans in the wrong way where they don't get it. You're
Hmm.
not doing it right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're
So,
louder. So that's why it's cringe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's become
Um,
bad to like Star Wars because there are people who are into it, but like in the wrong way. People who will
mhm.
justify everything that's bad about it instead of saying, "Oh, I really like Star Wars when it's good. Star Wars would be so good if it was good." You know,
Yeah,
real
people
fans hate Star Wars.
what's that tweet too? People be saying things do so definitively. Like, man, I think it
I think
depends.
it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and it does. Yeah. So each of us is cursed in the opposite way. I'm cursed because no one will ever, ever, ever know about the thing that I'm obsessed with, and Olivia's cursed because
Too many
no
people know
one
about it.
appreciates it the right way. Yeah,
Yeah.
too many people know about it and not in the right
And they're
way.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
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 So what can you do?
So there you go. What
Educate
can you
people.
do?
That's what we're doing here. We're educating people on the
Yeah.
right way to like Star Wars. Hell yeah, STEM.
Yeah. Let's go. Um, it's so good. Like I was
It's
watching
really
it.
good.
The thing is, I was watching the despecialized version, which you can find on the Internet Archive for free. And I was like, I had like homework and stuff to do, and I was like, well, I've seen Star Wars like so many times. Everybody knows Star Wars. It can just be like a second monitor type thing, you know, I can like be typey,
Mhm,
typey, typey, and then also Star Wars was playing. And
mhm.
then after about 5 minutes, I was like, what was I thinking? I knew I wouldn't be able to do that. And I finished my homework. I finished my homework with the drive of when I'm done with this, I get to watch Star Wars. So I did it really fast. And then I watched Star Wars
Yay!
full screen. I was like, hi.
It was
And as ubiquitous a movie as it is, as much as everybody like knows it culturally, and so many people have seen it, it's like it doesn't make it less good. Like when you watch it, you're like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, this movie is so good, even
It's
though
like
I've seen it so
Hamlet
many times. It's
in
like
the fact
Hamlet.
that it's
Everybody's done
overrated,
Hamlet.
but it's still
Everybody knows it.
underrated somehow.
Yeah, yeah,
It is that good. It's
yeah.
like really serious, like
It's
for
like
real.
so
Come on.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're crazy
Um,
if you say you don't like it, because it's
yeah.
like I don't think you watched it.
hmm Yeah. I was this is like came up in my on my YouTube recommended or something a couple weeks ago. The twin sun scene where he's like he just comes up and he looks out and stares at
It's
them and
so
it's
wistful.
like
I cried. Do you know how many times I've seen that scene? And still it came up and I was like, he's good.
oh
He's been
yeah,
looking
'cause
forward to being an adult because all his friends get to go out and join the military and go to school and whatever, all these cool things, and he's stuck farming in a
Mhm.
desert. Anyway, he's farming in a desert and all of his friends have gone on without him and he wants to grow up and be an adult. And then he's shoved into it. You're like, ah,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't supposed to be like that. Crazy. That scene is so like wistful. It's so emotional. So good.
I mean the movie itself like would stand on its own. But the thing that really just drove it into the stratosphere was John Williams. Like,
Yeah.
let's give, come on, louder!
And that's another thing. Everybody's always saying that he like makes the greatest soundtracks of all time, and you're like, okay, yeah, but it's true.
But it's true. It
But it's
like,
true. So like,
but it's
sorry.
yeah. You're gonna listen to that and
And
tell
not
me
be
that
like,
it
I'm really
doesn't
moved.
make your heart like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, no. I think actually I've heard that they're doing this in some places. Instead of having a defibrillator, they actually just put the headphones and play the
And they
Star
play
Wars
the
theme.
horn solo of Star Wars, and you're like, it revives you. You're like, oh, you know what? Life is worth living because I gotta watch that movie again. Think about it.
And it's true. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I with Luke, he's so young, he's so little, and he's never been
Yeah.
anywhere and done anything. I see people all the time complaining, like making fun of but I was gonna go to, what does he say? What's
And
the
get
line?
them
You know
popped.
it.
I was gonna go to Tasha Station and get some power converters.
Thank you. I knew
That's
you'd,
all that he
yeah.
has to do. Because here's the thing. It's like
Hamburgers.
people who live in a small agricultural desert town will know there's nothing to do. You have to hang out in the Walmart parking lot just to have something to do. So he's like, well, I had a plan. And even though it was tiny, like, come on, dude, I'm a teenager. I don't know anything. I just wanted to do this one thing and now I can't. Everybody's been there, even if they're gonna complain that like their main character of the movie's too human. Like
Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, he's so whiny, he's such a baby. I'm like, he
he's
is.
literally
He's a
17 years
child.
old.
He is
Like
a baby. And again,
yeah,
like he's never done anything. He's never gone through anything hard. Not really.
yeah.
Like, of course he's gonna
He's
be a
just
little
like
bit
a
whiny because nothing else
yeah,
matters. He doesn't have that line. I think it's so like I think it works. It's
yeah.
good. Plus, that's Mark Hamill. You gonna look me in the eye and you're gonna tell me that anything he's done is a mistake? Yeah, okay.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah, I love him, and he like it's good. It's
It's
good.
good.
Is all I'm gonna say.
It's good. It's good because it's like it's a melodrama like fantasy space movie, which is so fun and hadn't been done a lot at the time. Which is why it was so like revolutionary and so influential, right? People were like, "Oh, we could do anything if we wanted to. We could tell any story." And it's also like it's maybe an allegory for war in real life. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And did you see that
I
tweet
think you're
also that was like somebody talking about like Star Wars being like an allegory for like the Vietnam War? And somebody replied like, no, that would only be true if the US was the empire. Yep. Good job, dude. You're so close.
wow. Wow.
It's like, yeah.
I freaking love that tweet. And like I love that the internet is just we can see that. We can see someone else
Right.
not like posting
Posting online in front
the
of God and
dumbest
everybody.
like the fact that
But
their
then the
media
US
comprehension skill
would have been the bad guy. That can't be
non-existent.
right.
The two dots.
Crazy.
Come on.
Come
Yeah, I
on,
love it.
connect them. Yeah,
So funny. We get
yeah,
to see that
crazy.
forever. No one's ever
And
gonna
it's
forget
awesome.
that
It's immortalized. It's been reposted to 1,000 websites, so even if they delete it, baby, it's still there.
forever.
That's so awesome. Crazy.
Awesome.
So Star Wars is so good because it resonates with everybody, because every single person understands war bad, oppressive government bad, little rural farm boy who wants to hang out with his friends, good.
Good. Good.
Everyone knows that.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, that is true.
It's a timeless and universal story.
It's so timeless and so universal, in fact, that they decided to do it again for the sequels. Oh, we were
Over
talking
and
about that.
over.
I didn't
We're not talking about
forget I
that.
said that. Sorry.
We're living, for the next hour, we're living in a beautiful world in which they only made one Star Wars movie. Just like when we talk about Jurassic Park, we're only talking about Jurassic Park.
It's
Yes!
one. There's
It's one
one.
movie.
I brought Jurassic Park up at work the other day, and so I was just talking about it, just like Jurassic Park, just like that, and they were like, "Wait, which one?" I was like, "Jurassic, which one? What do you mean?" And for that
It's
split
what?
second, I lived in a world where no nothing else existed,
Nothing.
and
It's
then
just like
for
they wrote a book and then they made a movie about the book, and
yeah,
that was it.
and that was
Mhm.
it, and that's it. Um, and then it was one of our interns, split second of horror, where they had assumed the whole time that I was talking about Jurassic World,
Hmm. Oh,
which honestly, I don't think is that bad. I think it unintentionally helped the initial message of the first movie along. I
right.
don't think it did it on purpose, but I do think
Right.
I do actually like the first Jurassic World. I'll say that. I lowercase like it. I capital
Right.
L love Jurassic Park.
Of
These
course.
two things are very distinct, but I don't think Jurassic World is like a bad movie.
Right. Like it's
Mm,
not a bad movie.
yeah,
Was it
no.
a necessary
Sequels?
movie? No. But it was not bad. And that's really the case for like almost every movie that has a sequel. I'm like, well, I didn't really need it, but okay. You know, I love
Yeah.
movies that are just one thing.
Yeah.
And yet I like Star Wars. No!
Oh.
Oh, I hate it. But you know that I'm a real fan because I also hate it. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so Star Wars is a good movie, is what we're saying.
Star Wars is a good movie. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so
basically, okay.
um
The Princess Leia is on this
was gonna talk
space
about Leia
station
next.
that's being attacked, and
Yeah.
she puts a message into a little sassy as hell tiny little droid, and she's like, I know you'll get
I'm
this
his
to the right place.
boyfriend.
And then he somehow does instantly.
Like
Like he just
he doesn't even have to
immediately
do
lands on
anything.
the first planet, and that's the right planet for to find the guy. He gets
In the
a
first
little bit
town.
kidnapped. He gets a little bit kidnapped, but then immediately is released to the right family to find the guy. It's incredible. And that's because
R2D2
we
is
don't have
naturally
to
rolling
complicate the
nat
story.
20s.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's like we're
Don't
telling the
don't
story.
ever come into this like, what are the
How
odds he
is
would
the
land in
little
the right
farm boy?
spot?
Exactly. How's the little farm boy gonna get the International Space Station plans? We have to have that be a whole thing, or can we just be like, well, because of the droid, and then that's fine? So
And
I like
that's
how
all,
like
that's the end of the sentence.
the
Yeah.
main story that we have to tell is important, and this is just like set up, and so it's fine. And it doesn't need to have a million movies about it, but that's okay. But let's talk about Princess Leia because she rocks.
She
Princess
does.
Leia, more like.
She's played by Carrie Fisher.
And what that means is that she's serving face 100% of the time. And
Weighs constantly.
yes, she is like 3 inches tall and more powerful than like the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
Yes.
Like she's
She's
a
got a Shibagami
forceful,
stare
small
always.
woman. She has the Shibagami stare. That's so true.
Yeah.
And she, you know what? She's also classy.
Yeah,
She'll
because she's a
tell, like,
princess.
she's looking at, like, Tarkin, I think is his name, and she's like, why don't you eat shit? But you're still like, oh, wow, she's so elegant. Like,
When Luke
yeah,
comes to rescue her later, she's like, she's been tortured, but
yeah.
she's like
But
draped
she's sitting
so
in a tiny,
elegantly.
tiny
She's like,
windowless prison cell. He opens the door, and she's like, hmm.
you're short.
Yeah, which is funny. And we can be like, oh, that's because of, like, the male gaze in film, blah, blah, blah. Or we can say, Princess Leia's just like that. She's
Hmm.
just
And
laying
I've,
100% all the time.
yes, yes, that is true. I think explanation for Leia being like that that I've ever heard is that Luke and Leia are um they are Padme and Anakin respectively. Luke
Yeah.
is Padme's son and Leia is Anakin's daughter, like for sure. That's
Mm-hmm.
like he's
Because
there.
he's
But
like
she
got the
was raised as a
drama. He's got
princess.
the swag. Hmm.
Yes. His his mentor was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Can you not imagine him being in that cell and not being like,
Yeah, like these are
finally,
he's the
that's just
universe's
how they were
biggest
raised.
baddies. That's just how they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
she's a diva because she comes by honestly. And we look at, I mean, Padme and Anakin. Padme also has incredible style and flair, but that's mainly because she's the queen, you know? So she has every resource possible. And she looks great doing it, but she's very, like, politically minded, and she's very driven, you know? Anakin emotionally is a diva. And what's
Yes.
crazy about that, once again, when this movie was made, all of that backstory didn't exist. They
Yeah.
created Padme and Anakin because of Luke and Leia. Think about that. Carrie Fisher's influence.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, she's incredible. Um, I think the funniest thing I've ever seen about this movie, and I have not given it any critical thought because I
That's
just thought of
fine.
it just now, is
Hmm.
the fact that just after ooh, help me, her planet. Why I know it. I do.
Uh-huh.
But the Death Star hits
Alderaan?
it. What? Yes, Alderaan. Thank you. Um,
There's so many
my brain
planets
kept
to
telling
keep
me
track of.
Coruscant. I was like, it's not Coruscant. It's shut up.
Like, stop it! Yeah,
After Alderaan is exploded to death. And Obi-Wan also
badly.
is yeah, badly. And
Yeah.
Obi-Wan takes off, revving his motorcycle engine, and the smoke clears, and he's lying dead on the ground.
Yeah.
Her whole planet, and Obi-Wan also. And Luke is the one who's like, oh no. And Leia is like, I know. It's so you're so strong. You're gonna be okay. And she comforts him, and that's
Yeah.
pretty funny. That's
Yeah,
yikes.
that's true. I
Yikes,
mean, he
yikes.
has had a pretty big day.
Ah,
Because he, like, this basically, the first, like, 75% of the movie happens within 24 hours.
yeah.
Like he buys the droids and then one of them runs off and he has to go get it and he almost gets killed by the sand people and then he comes back and his home has been destroyed and his aunt and uncle have been burned to death. And he's like, oh crap. And so then he leaves to go on this adventure because there's nothing holding him back anymore, but he feels guilty about it because how can you say that, now your freedom comes at the expense of like the people who raised you. And
Yeah.
then he goes to the freaking, he finds Han, and Han's super mean to him all the time. And then he finds Leia, and they do the whole trash compactor thing. Like, he sees exquisite danger like 12 times, and he's just a little boy.
He was literally going to look at power converters.
Like, Tashi Station used to be the biggest thing that ever happened to him, and now look, he's like a revolutionary. What do I do? So it a little bit makes sense, but then it also is funny that she's like she watches her planet explode, every single person she's ever known, not a
Mhm.
tear. She says, "No, don't do it." And then they do it and she's like, "Well, guess I'll die." Like she's resolute. She's good.
What's that what's that saying? I think it's a British person saying. Something in
Mhm.
roundabouts. Circles and roundabouts. That doesn't make sense. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
I think
British.
it's like circle of life is the meaning of it. Like, ups and downs, I guess. But
Hmm.
where did I hear it?
I don't know. I'm looking at British idioms.
I'll do my own research as well. See if this helps. Swings and
I,
roundabouts.
I'm glad you found it because looking through a list of British idioms was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Their words are so ridiculous.
Will you ruin my day with one of them, maybe?
Sure.
Yay.
Yay. Some of them are like pretty standard, like, throw a spanner in the works. That's fine. It's like throw a wrench in
Hmm.
the works. Pretty similar.
Yeah.
But then I'm just scrolling through this list. Brass monkeys, full of beans, Bob's your uncle, builder's tea, have a gander, spend a penny, throw a wobbly. No, kill yourself.
What?
It's like having a
Oh no.
tantrum, apparently. No need to throw a wobbly.
Hey,
And then
Jason.
let me just keep going. Curtain
What
twitcher all over the
was
shop. Like,
I
it's like,
didn't
what are you
hear.
even saying
What
right
was
now? Curtain
Yeah.
twitcher?
I'm convinced that they just make things up. What?
Yeah,
Huh?
curtain twitcher. You know how people say, full of beans.
Oh yeah, dough.
Yeah,
Oh no, I'm always saying that.
yeah, totally. Hundreds
Yep,
and
yep, yep, yep.
thousands. Boo.
Like that one deserves punishment. Well,
Yeah,
I'm being so serious right now.
it's so
Why?
terrible.
Who
It
did that?
should be a licorice candy. Sprinkles, just say sprinkles because you sprinkle them
Sprinkles.
on top of whatever it is. What's wrong with you?
Why do we need to count them?
It's
We
like
know
I
there's
know
hundreds
that
and
there's a
thousands of
lot
them.
of little tiny ones. I know because that's the point is they're
Hmm.
small and tiny and you use them for decoration. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good. I got it. You
What
sprinkle it on there. So it's sprinkles.
when you cook rice, do you count out every grain that you're measuring?
Right. You
Like
might as
we
well call rice
that
hundreds and
doesn't
thousands because it's a bunch
Yeah,
of
we
tiny
don't
little
need
things.
to bring that into it. We don't need to bring the quantity into it. We know there's a lot because they're
Yeah.
tiny. Like
Yeah.
it's just irrelevant. And you're
What's
all
the word for
stupid.
crossing guard too? It's just like
Lollipop
so
man.
kiddish. Yeah, something like that. Come on. It's so childish. They're saving people's lives. Like say traffic guard. That's fine. That's normal.
Yeah. You have to admire a little bit the idea that like maybe they're trying to make their world more whimsical and delightful and
Right,
full of
because they live
hope.
in England.
And you need it.
You know what? That's a good point. But then they also
Hmm.
will, I think that they see themselves as having the superior English, which is certainly not the case.
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
sad.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Like they've got some good ones. Like I'll give them that. Like
hmm Taking the
Um,
piss, awesome, classic.
Taking the piss
Everybody
is
loved
great.
it.
Um, Bollocks. That's a good
That's a
word.
good
It just
one. We
doesn't
don't use
sound
that very
right.
much.
No,
Hmm
like it doesn't sound right when I say it. I don't have it doesn't I don't have the it doesn't have the weight behind it, you know?
Yeah,
There's one that Nish Kumar used a lot when he was on Taskmaster that uh piss and shit. And
piss and shit.
I like that a
Hmm
lot. I do. I really do. That one's good. That one's good to me. I'm sure there's many more. But like
Yeah. But I
the
don't know
wins
that they
don't
outweigh like the gravity of saying like you should speak proper English and then going around saying hundreds and thousands when you mean sprinkos.
you should be in jail.
Yeah. The disdain that we
Yeah.
have for British English knows no bounds. Terrible. I will say that your Wi-Fi is a little spotty, and so while you were laughing, you know when it does the
It
like
is, I
delay thing where it
know.
just does your sounds like really slow and chopped up. So it made your laugh actually better
Uh-huh.
because it was like it was evil. It's pretty good.
Yay, that's fun. That's the way it should be. Do you want to see? I painted my table this week.
Okay.
I painted it purple,
Ooh, it's
and then
purple and purple chair
I
too.
had a lot of paint left over. Yeah,
Hmm
purple chair, uh-huh. And then I finger painted just
Decorations.
for fun. I was like, I was gonna
Oh.
find a stencil to make it look really cute and pretty, and I was like, why
hmm
do I care if it looks really cute and pretty? It's my table. I want to have
Yeah.
fun painting it, and I want it to like, so it looks really bad. And I love every part of it. I also painted sides of the cabinet colors. It
Oh,
was white before,
fun.
not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore. That's good stuff. More people should be having fun with their lives and their decorations. That's what I always say.
When am I not saying that? Death Star, good name for a weapon.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
it's huge and it can blow up a planet.
Yeah,
So
and it can go quick. But I don't
it can go really quick. Yeah.
it can go quick.
And
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah, and that's good. And I really like that in this movie, they're like there's a weakness in it.
Hmm
Um, and for many years a lot of people were like, why would they have such an obvious weakness in it? First of all, it's not obvious.
It's not
Anyway, why
obvious.
is Rebel Alliance?
They have that whole meeting about like there's a weakness in it and it's 1 inch big. And it's the size of
Yeah.
a moon. It's hard to
It's
find. Like people died trying to get to it.
yeah.
It
Um
shows a respect.
I think even if we take Rogue One out of the equation for a second, it's really fun and really easy to just say it only a movie.
It only movie. How did
It's
R2D2 find Luke
same
Skywalker so fast? It
exactly,
only movie.
exactly, exact. It only a movie. Of course, there happens to be a weakness. Of course, they happen to know it. Of course, it happens to be like, of course,
Right. And it's
because
not
it's a
like
movie. Because we're
because
watching
it's a
a
movie.
story happen. Because it's made up.
And we're watching the story of Luke Skywalker becoming a Rebel Alliance fighter, right?
Hmm
So all these other things that are happening outside of that, we can just talk about really briefly. They can sit down and have a meeting and then say, "Hey, somebody found the schematics and we think this just might work." And then like a dozen people die trying to make it happen.
hmm
And that's
And then it
fine
worked.
because the movie is about Luke Skywalker. He gets to save the day with his
Yeah.
best friend who comes back, even though he
Yeah.
said he was going to leave because of his
Uh-huh.
character growth. It's like, yeah, like I think we're good. I think it's like, oh, it's really convenient that it happened this way. Well, it was written down in a script.
And people told them where to stand, damn it.
Yes. So
And
it's
then
all
on top
good,
of
baby.
all of that, gave us Rogue One 30
Yeah.
years later.
We're like, just in case you needed it, here's how they got the schematics in the first place. Great.
Everyone say thank you. As we've talked about Rogue One already. Like it's Ooh,
It's a
ooh.
good movie.
It's
You know
good
what?
movie. It's I think
I'll
we
be the
can
first
say
one
it.
to say it. I'll be the first one to say it. It's a pretty good movie. I think Rogue One was like pretty decent.
Yeah. And it's really fun on account of, you know why? Because it's not the same characters.
Yeah, because it's the strength of Star Wars, which is that it's created this whole beautiful world with infinite possibilities. And they're using one of those possibilities to introduce us to new characters in a setting that we're familiar with, which is the
Yeah,
only way that it works.
yeah, yeah. And I
Shout
I
out to
really
Drew Gooden
woo!
for putting that
Say
into
that
words.
again.
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey.
Drew, let's go. Um, I love Rogue One. I would not change one single thing about it. Not one. But hypothetically, if everyone were to have survived, I
Mhm.
do really like the idea that Han and Cassian would have really, really hated each other so much.
Oh, yeah, I
So
think so.
much. And
Yeah,
I think that would have been really good to see.
and that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think that their hatred could have fueled the Death Star. Like I think that could have done it. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
energy
yeah.
there. And I think I've seen a lot of people say that also Bodhi and Luke could have dated. And I think
Yeah, and
probably
that would have
that's
been
true.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
and good for them.
yeah. And yeah, good for them. Happy Pride. Do you think they have space pride?
I don't know. Who do you think threw the first brick in Star Wars universe?
On
Wow.
someone shooting for maybe
Hey,
Greedo
you
threw the
know
first
what?
brick in the space Stonewall. And then Han killing
That's
was a
what
hate
makes Han
crime.
such a bad person, because that's a hate crime. But then by the end of the movie, don't worry, he's an ally because he says, that little gay boy needs me. And he comes back and saves the day.
What was that? What is it? That's one of my favorite Star Wars tweets. I see you, Luke, in those Gucci boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, yeah, he grew up a little rural boy in the middle of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
But that is Anakin and Padme's son. That is Leia's brother. So if you think about it, yes, he slays 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, get that. I don't so I don't know what that phrase means. Get the face card.
Hmm.
Sometimes I say it, and sometimes people don't say anything. Sometimes people just kind of like nod, like
Right.
like yeah, good point. But I, it's like that post that's like knowledge is power, Francis Bacon. Do you know that one where they just say France is bacon
Oh,
and
France
just
is
wait for
bacon.
somebody, yeah, instead
Yeah.
of Francis bacon?
Right.
And they're like, this
Knowledge
doesn't make
is
any
power.
sense.
France is bacon. Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah,
get it. I'm
uh-huh,
seeing it
yeah.
in my mind. Yeah.
And for decades, they just said like if someone else says the phrase, then they follow it up with Francis Bacon.
France is bacon.
And everyone is like, yeah, no, that's true. And for years, until he saw it written down, he thought France
They were
is
saying
bacon. And that's the
France is
thing. Yeah,
bacon.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing with face card. I don't know what it means. Yeah, okay, drive safe. Have fun.
He's like, I can't be here anymore.
He heard face card. He's
Face
like, I'm gonna go
card.
kill myself.
Be right back. Well, when you go to a place and they accept like cash, credit, or card.
Hmm.
So if somebody's face card never declines, it's like they can get in anywhere with their looks.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was an app.
that's awesome. Like Facetune.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought it
Yeah.
was. I thought someone was like face card where they like yassified. I thought that was like yassified was the synonym.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah, but
makes
it's not
sense.
yassified. It's like somebody who already
They just
is
look like that.
gorgeous. They just
Okay,
already
yeah.
look like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it applies to Luke.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because his face card never declined.
No.
Even after
The scene
he
he's
in
looking at the
real life
suns.
was, and that is scene of all time for real. But even when actor in real life, Mark Hamill, was in a serious accident and they had to reconstruct his face, and so then in the movie they make him be attacked by a creature.
Yeah,
Even then, you're like, I know that
he's
guy.
still serving.
Hmm.
I don't think they replaced his hand in real life, though, right? It's not a robot hand that he has.
No, I think that that was
Okay.
just like makeup and CGI and stuff.
Okay, that's pretty fun.
No, it was pretend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I think at one point Mark Hamill was also bitten by a snake on set, and he was like, "It's okay. It's not his fault. It's my fault. I freaked him out."
Hmm.
I just really like that guy. I've said it
Yeah.
before. I'll say it again. I don't have parasocial relationships, but he is my best friend, Mark Hamill.
Yeah. We hang out. It's like us, Mark, Steve Carell, and Lady Gaga. We're all getting together. Friendsgiving, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. We haven't even talked about Harrison Ford either.
We have barely talked about anything.
So
As
why? It's because
is
we didn't
just
do
the
a call
way.
last week.
Yeah,
This
it's
happens
where
every time.
this always happens when we have a set schedule, then we're locked in. We're like, let's talk about movie, and then we talk about movie. But where it's been a while, we're like, I think I've seen movie. I think I've heard of that at least. We know nothing about anything.
Uh-huh.
We're
Yeah.
stupid and dumb, and we can't just talk like regular people.
I have to say, Olivia, please tell me, what does space card mean?
And I'm like, look it up, or I'll give you a context in which you can use it.
It's not my job to educate you. Darth Vader's in this movie.
Darth Vader's in this movie. Darth Vader is introduced to the public
Hmm.
in this movie.
Hmm.
And
What I
so,
really like about
you
him
know,
too is, if you come from a culture where everyone is obsessed with Star Wars, rightly so, you hear about Darth Vader all the time. And you think
mhm,
he's all about, like, he's in this movie. Like how when Pitch Perfect was coming out, I didn't even know who the main I thought that Amy was the main character. I thought it was her. I thought the whole movie was about her because that's all anyone was talking
mhm,
about. Even though she's just a side character in it. She's fantastic and she does make the movie, but she's like
mhm.
not in it very much. It's Anna Kendrick. And that's what Darth Vader is. Darth Vader is Fat Amy.
And so
That's what I'm
everyone's going to
saying.
relate to this. Everyone's going to understand that and be like, yeah, finally somebody's speaking on it.
Somebody's saying
Um,
it. Yeah, because he's
well,
barely
it's
in this
true.
movie. He's in it for
He
less
has
than
like
20 minutes.
yeah, he has like 3 scenes, and that's awesome.
Really good. And what I like
Yeah.
about him too is he's not the big bad. Tarkin is
No,
the big bad.
he like works
Darth
with
Vader
General Tarkin.
is,
General Tarkin is the
yeah,
big bad, and Darth Vader's like one of the guys who like he
yeah.
has this like power. He still believes in the Force while everyone else in the Empire pretty much doesn't.
Hmm.
And so you can see that he like kind of has an edge on some people, but he's not like usurping General Tarkin's position or anything, you know? He's
Hmm.
just like there, and then at the end, he sees like the TIE fighters trying to take down the Rebel Alliance, and he's like, I'll take matters into my own hands.
Because that's
And that's
all
cool.
Anakin has ever been. And we haven't really, like,
And he hasn't
but
even been invented yet.
he
This
hasn't even been
movie is so
invented yet.
powerful that this like
And that's,
one-off movie made for cheap in the late 70s now became this like whole thing with like other huge cast of characters and whatever. We get Obi-Wan
yeah.
backstory and you know why does he go by Ben but also by Obi-Wan, and how does he know Darth Vader, how
Yeah.
were they such good friends before? It's like the whole script is like leaving these tiny little like breadcrumbs
Yeah. Yep,
that
yep,
it's
yep,
like
yep,
if
yep,
you
yep.
want there's a whole world down here that you can like travel through, but then also the movie just as movie is so good and it stands on its own.
Perfect. And like, if you choose to think, and some things that they added later, like sometimes when Star Wars is good, it's good. Um,
Yeah.
like the idea that Anakin has only ever been used as a weapon his whole life, and that's all he's ever known. And even now, as Darth Vader, he's just a weapon. He's not in charge
Hmm.
of anything. He is the Empire's weapon. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll get in a TIE fighter, I'll take everybody down myself because that's his job. He is the lightsaber
Yeah.
that someone else is wielding. He's not
Yeah.
ever really in control of his own life. And so when General Tarkin is like, "Hey, dude, stop choking that guy," he's like, "Okie dokie," and just like calms back
Yeah.
down. And that's like,
Because he's just like,
I
hey,
don't
look
know,
what I
that's
can
so
do, by the
sexy.
way. Like if
Yeah.
anybody else was gonna get all like big, check this out. Yeah.
And
Yeah, but we don't
okay,
he's not like this like
who's
out of control like rogue person. He's very contained.
which
And
is
he has a very small role
scarier.
in the movie, even though he's like the villain of all time. Right.
And also, who voices Darth Vader?
That's it's so interesting that you would ask that because it's only James Earl Jones of James Earl
Yeah!
Jones fame. Yeah,
James Earl Jones, who has,
crazy. Yeah.
I think, the greatest voice that's ever been invented.
People are saying that.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
He's like, he's the only person that they brought back for the second Lion King movie because there's like, listen, there's no way in hell that we're
There's
getting
nobody
anyone
else
better.
who's gonna do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna
And they
buy
were
it.
right
Hmm.
because the rest of that movie sucks balls. It's
Hmm.
bad. But
Really
they,
bad.
it has one single redeeming feature, and it was the fact that James Earl Jones was in it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if they hadn't, then it would have been that much worse.
completely unwatchable instead of just 98% unwatchable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
never seen
bad.
it.
I know that you're better than me. You don't have to rub it in.
Just for anybody out there
Yeah.
watching who might be confused, I'm just saying all this stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
James Earl
I
Jones is in this movie.
he is in this movie.
Hmm.
And for a very good reason. He's all anybody has ever been able to talk about. Everything is Darth Vader all the time, and it's
All
because
the
of
time.
him.
He's the
And
villain
they
of
write
all
for it.
time. If you ask somebody
Yeah.
like, "Oh, who's like a villain?" Darth Vader, and then I guess somebody else.
Yep, yep, yep,
His
yep, yep.
influence.
And this is even before I Am Your Father. This is before that.
This is before that because we're just talking about the one movie where they
The
hadn't
one.
developed his character yet. He was just scary villain who used to be a Jedi, and then something sick and twisted happened. Nobody knows, and it could have gone in a
Ooh.
million different directions. We don't know yet because it's just one movie.
I did a presentation my freshman year of college about Star Wars because the
Hmm.
whole unit was about Star Wars.
Yay!
'Cause, what was her name? Kristen Matthews, Dr. Matthews. Um, she was like maybe 40, wasn't married, had no plans to ever get married. She told us this like first day
Hmm.
class. She's
Good for
like,
her.
"Don't ask about my
She's like,
husband.
don't
I
even
do not
ask.
have one. Yeah,
Hmm.
don't have kids. Don't want them. I like stories." And we talked about Great Gatsby and Yellow Wallpaper,
Hmm.
short story of all time.
That's a short story of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We all lived through COVID. We all know. But we had a unit about Star Wars, and we all had to pick like a rhetorical lens to look at the story through, and
Right.
I had to um and I did like race and ethnicity through the lens of Star Wars and how
Well,
the movie's kind of racist. We all know every story has flaws.
yeah.
But how
And
for
it's
like
like
all
it was like made in the 70s.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
very much a
yeah.
product of its time where it's like a really gripping story about like the troubles of war and like imperialism and whatever, and that's like great. But then also it's like you can you can say and do that, and that's both equally because it's a product of its time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. Um, the bad things do not take away from the good things, but the good things should not distract from the bad. It had to be like a 20-minute presentation or something. Um, and I don't remember any of it, but I do remember like little 18-year-old me rewatching Star Wars for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, it's like racist. But like again, it's
Because when that's what you're looking for, it's like it's
it's
there.
all you see. Yeah.
Hmm.
And how like they don't have any people of color in it at all, but the few like snippets that they do have are like the sand people who are like dressed all in robes and
Yeah.
then you have
And they
Darth
just
Vader, who is
they
for
just
all intents
speak
and
in
purposes
like
a
grunts
black
and
man.
yells, and all they do is kill
Yeah.
people.
And they're
Yeah.
like primitive, and it's like, ooh,
And you're like,
ooh,
oh, I wonder
ooh.
what that could mean. Yeah. And then who, somebody else you were saying,
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes,
Darth Vader, voiced by
Darth
James Earl
Vader, that's
Jones,
true. Voiced by
played
James
by a
Earl
white
Jones.
man,
Hmm.
voiced by James Earl Jones. But he's like the villain of the movies, and up until the reveal, like we see when he is a good guy again, that's when he's like a white guy again. But for every other moment,
Right.
he's like, fa I know, tell me about it.
Hmm.
Got a
It
lot
lives
of
in
thoughts. I don't know if you.
obscurity.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not really relevant to anything, and I don't have a point to it, but
It
I
is
loved doing
interesting.
that presentation,
Hmm.
and it was a lot of fun and very uh I can't think of any words at all today. But I liked it. Star Wars has some problems, but it has a lot of
Yep.
really good things.
Has a lot of really good things because it's one of the movies
Yeah.
ever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Super influential, and it does have those moments like of just like pure like contemplative emotion. You're like, oh,
Yes.
this is a good movie.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
also separately, we can talk about like, well, why was every movie in the 70s like a bunch of white men and then like one white woman for
Yeah.
diversity? You know? It's like there's definitely room in the conversation for like the racial aspect, the feminist
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think,
Yeah.
yeah, like you're saying, like it's worth talking about those things, but it also doesn't detract from like all the really good things of the movie.
Yes, absolutely. Like they both things should carry a good amount of weight. Like
Hmm.
the the criticism from imperialism and colonialism is still valid,
Yes. Yep.
even with, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. We all know.
Hmm.
And then on top of all that too, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
It's a
fun.
good movie because the
Yeah, it's
music is like so like rousing and interesting, and like everyone's like has all these battles and they're using jargon that you like are not familiar with, but you still get it because the world building is like surprisingly good.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then when they go into the
it's like
cantina,
fun,
they're
it's
playing.
exciting.
What kind of music are they playing?
I don't want to
Because we'd get demonetized.
say.
Yeah, go look it up if you're curious. We're not gonna
It's
say it.
jazz with a different vowel. Which they did on purpose. And I don't think that it like wasn't a
Wild.
euphemism yet then. Like I think it still was, and they were like, it doesn't matter.
I think that sometimes George Lucas just decided things and didn't accept any criticism on them.
Right. And
And I
everyone's
think
like,
that
whatever, fine.
dude, yeah. And like with a lot of the dialogue too, all of the main actors have said like
The
it
dialogue
was
was pretty
rough. Like,
clunky and
dude, it was
bad.
rough.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But they did their
Yeah.
best with what they were given. And mostly
Hmm.
when you're watching it, like the most recent time that I watched it, I was like, yeah, you didn't really need to say that. Like a lot of it is like just saying things that are obviously happening on screen where it's like
Uh-huh.
I can see it with my eyes, so I'm good on that. Just kind of clunky, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
Didn't really need to be there,
Yeah, no.
but
I
that's
think
okay because they still performed it really well.
yeah, they did.
And
They did.
sometimes people say stuff that's really obvious and doesn't need to be said. So the badness of it maybe makes it more human. Think about that.
Mhm.
I'll make an
And
argument for
actually,
anything.
on that point, too, we're talking
Mhm.
like pre special version of it, pre like dressed up special effects version, George Lucas. The fact that
Yeah,
it was made for cheap. The fact that
yeah,
everything is dirty and has been used before and thrifted and it all looks like kind of
yeah.
cobbled together.
It's
It
awesome. It's so
we've
real.
said it before. It works to build it out. Everything feels lived in. If
Hmm.
you had created like this perfect like desert environment, it wouldn't have felt as real. This
Right.
feels like you're
You're like,
just in
Luke
a
is
rural desert
irritated
town.
because he has dirt in his socks all the time.
Yeah, constantly.
For real.
It's pretty and irritating and it gets everywhere.
Yeah. And everyone always has known that. And it's real. Yeah, yeah. And I think like a lot of like sci-fi stuff is very sleek
Hmm.
and that's has its appeal in its own way. But this like if we're telling the story of like a rural boy who comes from nowhere and ends up being this like great leader, yeah, he has to start somewhere pretty bad. Like he has to be poor and everything he owns is a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
And
Um,
also, all the clunky dialogue in the world can never take away the
John Williams.
pure joy of John Williams. So true. And also, when they're in the trash compactor and C3PO and R2D2 like barely stop the walls from moving in time and they're cheering, but because they're on these like tiny little voice things that are really tinny and not very clear because it's 70s technology in space,
Hmm.
they're like hooting and hollering, yes! And all C3PO hears is screaming, oh, listen to them, they're dying, R2. That's a funny enough line that I'm like, whatever. I'll let everything else go.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
I agree. That's really good. C3PO and R2D2 invented gay people.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And that's why Han Solo wasn't an ally before he met them. He had never been exposed to that kind of culture before.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
also why it took the whole movie because he could see them interacting and be like, I don't think that's a healthy relationship. And it's like,
Yeah. R2D2,
maybe not.
but they're so awesome.
They're really, really good. I like that
Hmm.
R2 canonically just swears all the time. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And that's a really funny way to get around a censor too, to be like, yeah, no, he beeps all the time, constantly. That's all we hear. But know that he's like, yikes.
Yeah, that's really good. And C3PO is like all like poised and he really wants to be seen as a serious person.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, shut up. You can't say stuff like that. And nobody else can understand him. But it doesn't matter because he's a translator, so he knows. People can
Yeah,
hear you. It's really good stuff.
it's really good movie. I
It's a
like
good
that they
movie.
have Luke's line of I can't see anything in this helmet. And like that's why Star Troopers maybe can't hit anything ever. Is
Hmm.
well, their helmets don't work. They can't see out of them,
Right.
maybe. I like that. I
That's
think
so
that's kind of
interesting.
fun.
Yeah, I do like that like when they go and see the carnage and they say, "Oh, it wasn't random, like only Imperial stormtroopers are so accurate." Everyone on that planet must be like just really bad then. Because that's like one line where they talk about Imperial stormtroopers being like trained so well and their shots are so accurate, and then every other moment in this movie and all other Star Wars movies until the end of time, stormtroopers can barely hit anything. So it's like, why would they say that and then
Yeah.
not follow through? None of the main characters get shot, even though they'll have like 12 guys each tracking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because George Lucas has
He's a
done a
clever
lot of
guy.
really good in this world. And
Yeah.
sometimes he's just not very good.
Yeah, he's just kind of a silly, silly person sometimes.
Yeah. I can't reach it.
But
It's
thank
too
goodness
far.
he has an uncredited wife to do his editing for him and make the movie
Seriously.
watchable.
Where would we be without our Obi-Wan Kenobi is in it? And that means
Yeah.
that like 20 years later, we got Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So everyone say
Yeah.
thank you again for that.
And you know what's interesting is that like the timeline doesn't really add up for him to be so old in A New Hope. But then it's like, well,
Yeah.
actually, they put him through a lot, you know?
Yeah. What, you don't want Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan?
Yeah, it's like just believe it. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It
He
doesn't
maybe
matter.
he's
It's a
just aged
movie.
badly.
Yeah.
Not aged badly. I don't like that phrase. Maybe the son
He just
from
aged
living
a
the
lot.
sons. Yeah,
Right. It's like he has
because
two
he
sons,
didn't
that's
wear
double skin
sunscreen.
damage, and he's
Yeah,
super stressed. He's the
all
most
the
stressed
time.
person probably ever. all the time,
Yeah.
even though he's like
Uh-huh.
Zen Jedi.
Yeah.
Underneath, he's about to die.
He's like a shaking chihuahua.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really like that video of the Revenge of the Sith, but every time Obi-Wan's on screen, Britney Spears or no, what is it? It's Sexy Back plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
that
true.
one's really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like there's probably a lot to say, but I'm a little hungry and sleepy, so I'm like, whatever.
Oh, so sleepy.
You know?
I intentionally did all of my things early in the day so that I could have a nap.
So smart.
I am absolutely certain that at some point we will revisit this one.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
there's a
and then
lot to say. And
yeah,
what
lots.
the heck? We're probably gonna have to rewatch the original trilogy in order to make sure we're saying everything we want to
Oh
say.
no.
Which I'm planning to do
Oh no.
anyway, because Trinice has never seen it, so we gotta
That's
get
right.
her in on it. Yeah.
Oh, someone told me at work this week that I remind them of Miss Frizzle, and they were like, "No offense." I was like, "I
How could anybody ever be offended by that? The
yeah,
thing is that people who remind you of Miss Frizzle would take it as a compliment that you remind them of Miss Frizzle.
yeah." And
So,
like she had said this while facing away from me, and I reacted silently, but I did this,
hmm
so she didn't see
yeah,
that. And so for a split
right.
second of silence, she assumed that I'd be like, but
Mhm.
no, I was like, stop.
You're like, oh my gosh, stop. Wait, really?
What is
No,
it
come on.
specifically? Like twirling both sides of my head. Like, wow. To recap, base, TIE
Space,
fighter slash
totally.
trash compactor,
hmm
fake, Mark Hamill.
And we're always saying that. And we probably will come back to this at some point. Probably just like when it's been a couple weeks and we haven't watched any movie or talked to each other at all, as in this case, we'll just pull out another Star Wars episode. I feel like that's probably what'll end up happening.
Yeah,
But next time I watch the
yeah,
movies, I will write down things that are actually important to discuss instead of
that's good.
kind of
And
just rambling about Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford face card.
Carrie Fisher, who drowned in moonlight, strangled by her bra.